行くよ天竜。
Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokémon Journeys episode 96, Reach into Space, Ampharos' Light. This was the 1181st episode of the Pokémon anime, and I don't have much else to say at the start here, so let's just get into the episode breakdown. So it looks like Ash and Go are visiting the Moss Deep Space Center, where they immediately reunite with Sophocles. Pikachu and Togedemaru share one of their cute little electric hugs, and the boys are excited to see Sophocles' Ampharos. Well, it's not actually his Ampharos, but we'll get into that a little later. The joke here is that Ampharos is really clumsy, which I guess is supposed to be funny, but Ash shakes off his injury pretty quick and asks Sophocles about their other classmates. We don't really get much intel here, but Sophocles does mention Kiawe, who looks really weird in this thought bubble. I don't know why they drew him like this. Sophocles asks Go about his Raboot, so Go sends out Cinderace. I mean, why didn't Sophocles ask Go about Sobble, huh? I mean, it's still the Pokemon on his shoulder in the opening theme, shows how outdated this opening is. Anyways, after the opening plays, we head into the Space Center for a tour. Of course, Ash is impressed because wow, science is so amazing. We learn about the project that Sophocles is working on, which is called Talonflame 2. And unlike what Ash thinks, this does not involve actual Talonflame in space. Actually, and here's your fun fact for today, the Talonflame 2 satellite in this episode is apparently based off of the Hayabusa 2 satellite, a real-life satellite that flew into space back in 2020, with the name Hayabusa meaning Falcon, and more specifically referring to the type of Falcon that Talonflame is based on. Wow, science is so amazing. They walk into this main control room, and this guy named Hirota seems to be the one in charge around here. They explain to Ash and Go the specifics of the project, and basically all you need to know is that the satellite is currently on its way back to Earth, and they are using Ampharos' light to guide it back to where they want to go. They actually have 4 Ampharos stationed at various observatories, but Sophocles is the main one, since I guess the Moss Deep Space Center is the base of operations for this project. It's time for Ampharos to get to work, but because it's so clumsy, it smacks Ash in the face with its tail, gives Go an accidental tail slap, and then nearly steps on Togedemaru, which causes it to jump backwards into this machine, basically breaking it. They don't notice the damage at this point, but I won't forget that Togedemaru broke this machine and nearly derailed the entire mission. Now that Ampharos is hooked up and in position, it generates as much light as possible, which looked pretty cool, I guess. And they send this light up into space, and it actually connects with the Talonflame 2 satellite. Nice. It doesn't take long for the machine that Togedemaru broke to start malfunctioning, so the team has to take emergency precautions and get one of the other Ampharos to use its light to save the satellite. Everything is okay, well, except for that machine, and Sophocles' ego that's shattered to bits. He and his Pokemon head outside after this embarrassing situation. I don't really know why Sophocles was beating himself up so much about this. I mean, it was the machine that malfunctioned, not him or Ampharos, so he didn't even do anything wrong. Ash and Go arrived to help cheer their friend up, and then talking about how cool Ampharos is was enough to cheer Sophocles up, but when he tells Ampharos to shine its light again, it can't. I guess because it lost all of its confidence in itself. Sophocles is staying calm, but Ampharos isn't and just runs off into the woods. Great. They go off to look for it, and this is when Sophocles explains that it's not actually his Ampharos. It actually belongs to his cousin, Moylaine, and he just sent Ampharos to Sophocles so that his little cousin could work on this project. Sophocles is now down on himself again after losing track of Ampharos, but Ash steps in with some really hokey advice straight out of Alola, talking about going at full power towards your dream. It sounded a little cringeworthy to me just because of how much they were trying to shove in the full power lines, but hey, it works, and now, oh great, Grookey is lost too, that useless little. Anyways, apparently Grookey went off trying to look for Ampharos, but just ran into a Volbeat instead. Nicely done, you idiot. But everyone else does manage to find Ampharos just as it starts raining. Sophocles talks to it. You can see how he's matured as a person and as a trainer here. I don't really have much positive to say about Sophocles' return in this episode, but this was definitely a nice moment. After this little pep talk, Ampharos tries shining its light again, and this time actually comes through, and Grookey is able to find its way back to the group thanks to Ampharos. I probably would have been fine if they just left it in the woods forever, but I guess that's just my cold, emotionless heart speaking. This successful rescue mission is enough to convince Sophocles and Ampharos Ampharos to head back to the space mission, but not before Ampharos trips and falls again. Meanwhile, outside the Earth's atmosphere, the Talonflame 2 has to pull an evasive maneuver to dodge a rogue asteroid coming its way. We were speculating over on my Discord server whether or not Rayquaza and or Deoxys would show up in this space-related episode. I could have totally seen one of those two being what set the satellite off course, but nope, it was just a regular meteorite. So now that the Talonflame 2 is off course, it's all hands on deck to try and think of a solution, and Sophocles gets to work on his tiny portable computer projector thing and basically solves the issue in a matter of seconds. Wow, science is so amazing. Sophocles' plan is set in motion, and in order for it to succeed, they need Ampharos to really pull through and drag the Talonflame 2 to the Moss Deep Space Center. I thought for a second we might see Sophocles use a Z move here after all of that full power talk earlier, but nope, it's just Ampharos trying its best, and Pikachu, Togedemaru, and Ghost Raichu even help out by sharing their electricity with Ampharos. How this didn't overload the machine, I have no idea, but this does manage to send a huge beam of light into space, and this is enough to drag the Talonflame 2 back to Earth successfully. Everyone in the project is relieved, and was I the only one who found it strange that Cinderace was just chilling over here with this rando? Why was Cinderace even out of its Pokeball this entire episode again? Anyways, the day is saved, and we skip to the next day, where everyone is saying their goodbyes and giving their well wishes. Another episode in the books. I'm giving this episode a 4.5 out of 10 rating. This was a struggle to rate, I'm gonna be honest. I did not particularly enjoy this episode. I thought maybe something around a 5 was where I wanted to rate it, but after comparing it to some of the other episodes that I've given a 5 rating to, I just like those better than I did this episode, so I had to rate it lower than a 5. Sophocles returning was meh. I don't really know how else to describe it. Like, if you are really invested in his dream to become an astronaut, then fair enough, but I honestly don't care much about that at all, so I had a hard time getting excited about this episode. Really, this was just a formulaic filler episode with Sophocles added in. How often in the past have we seen Ash show up randomly, meet someone with an interesting Pokemon, have their basic task go haywire only for Ash to help save the day, and everything work out fine in the end? I'm watching the Johto League Champion season of the anime right now, and trust me when I say that is the basic plot of like every other episode, just with a different location and different Pokemon each time, but it's the same formula really. In addition to that, I don't really care about space at all. Like, even growing up, I was never really enamored by space or science in general, so the topic of this episode wasn't interesting to me either. Like, I'm sure there are lots of people out there who do like space and have dreams about being an astronaut, but I don't. So after that very meh episode, let's check out what's next, and it's another Slowpoke episode, because that last one just went so well, didn't it? Yeah, I guess this will be the introduction of Galarian Slowbro and Slowking, and I guess this has the potential to be one of those completely off-the-wall filler episodes that ends up being so funny and ridiculous that I end up enjoying it. Whatever it may be, I'll go into next week's episode with an open mind, which is exactly how I approached my first playthrough of Legends Arceus. Wow, that game sure is something, isn't it? I'm not going to spoil anything here, but man, that post-game climax is something else, let me tell ya. Now's not the time to talk about Legends Arceus though. I thought maybe it might be a fun idea to get together with one or two of my fellow YouTubers and do like a podcast style review of the game, just talking through our experiences and favorite moments. I don't know if there would be any interest for that, but hopefully you did enjoy this video. Be sure to leave a like and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.